So we'll start out with financial aid questions with Joelle. So first off, what is OSAP? Am I eligible to apply?
OSAP is a financial need program that was built with the federal and the Ontario provincial government to help Ontario students be able to have some form of helping funds for their educational costs. What they did when they built that program, they ensured that loans and grants were part of the funding. And in case nobody knows, grants are something that is non-repayable, and loans is something that you have to pay at the end, 6 months after the end of your studies, or if you withdraw 6 months after you withdraw. The program itself is for Canadians, somebody who has a Canadian status, permanent residency status, and protected person refugee status. But you also must meet the Ontario eligibility residency. So it's, if you have not been in Ontario for 12 consecutive months without attending any post-secondary, then you cannot qualify. If you're on a study permit, as an international student, you cannot qualify for this program.
Excellent. And if I'm not eligible for OSAP, what are my options?
Some students who apply for OSAP, even if they were eligible as an Ontario resident, not everybody qualifies for OSAP, depending on how big the income resources you have and your parents' income resources, if you haven't been out of high school for 6 years, is we tell the student, check with your bank and ask them and talk to them about a student line of credit. Other students, of course, save up, or their parents help them for their studies, or international students have to have their money coming into the country to be able to attend. They also get a job if the program of study they're in allows them. There's work study during the school year at Canada College, which is jobs during the school year. Or if the weekend is a better thing, then students get part-time jobs during the weekend. But students usually who can't qualify for OSAP definitely either go to their bank to talk about a line of credit, or if they're Indigenous, they should talk to their band to see if they can get, if they could qualify for sponsorship.
Excellent, thank you. And how can I budget my money for the school year so I don't run out? Do you have any budgeting tips?
Yes, definitely know how much money you have while you're in school. Don't use any money that you're receiving during the school year to pay outstanding debt from the summer. OSAP, if you're on OSAP, you will know how much you're receiving OSAP as long as you completed your OSAP application at the beginning of the school year. And then you will also know how much tuition you must pay. I would mark down all your expenses for a month. And always make sure when you do a budget is like, this is my monthly amount. This is what I have to pay for the month. It should come up to a zero balance after that. Don't overspend. But also when you do a budget, if possible, not every time it is possible, make sure that you also consider your entertainment. So if you considered entertainment of $100 a month, don't spend more than $100 a month, because that's a monthly budget. I also say in the budget, watch for deals. If you're doing groceries, always over budget your monthly grocery for a little bit, but at the same time, do some research, because a lot of our grocery stores and places where you go get your groceries have discounts for students. And if you don't ask or you don't do the research, you're not going to know. But I would probably say most of the time when we're talking to a student, we ask them to do a yearly budget at first, because you already know how much stuff you're going to get for the the year, or you already know how much line of credit you're able to receive or what your savings are going to be. But after that, make yourself a monthly budget and say, this is pretty well what I pay every month while I'm going to school. So now, you know, split your, if you're in an 8-month program, split your income for 8 months and make sure that you do not spend more than what you have as resources for the month.
Fantastic. And finally, what is the best way to find out more information about financial aid?
You could probably, when you're saying financial aid at Canadore College, if it's better ways to find out about financial aid at Canadore College, always look at our website. Look when our awards are actually available, when they open and when they close every year. I would probably say always find out what is the email to contact the financial aid department at the school you'll be attending. Here at Canadore College, it is finaid@canadorecollege.ca. Any questions regarding help with a budget or what's happening with my OSAP or when can I apply for scholarship and bursary should always be directed to that email, and you'll always get an answer within 24 to 48 hours.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. We'll now talk a little bit about the pathway questions, and this is for Jonathan Claston. So my first question for you, Jonathan, is what is a credit transfer?
So thanks for having me, and hello, everybody. A credit transfer is basically recognizing prior learning done at another post-secondary institution. So what that means is if you have studied somewhere at the post-secondary level and you have completed a course or courses that are similar and share the same course learning outcomes as courses you're taking at Canadore, there may be the potential for equivalency to gain a credit transfer, which potentially could allow you to drop a course and reduce your course load, making the rest of your studies a little easier. So it's a little bit different for everybody and kind of a case-by-case basis, but the approach for looking at it is kind of the same for everybody. So it's just recognizing any prior post-secondary that you may have done for exemptions from courses that you are going to be doing at Canadore.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Next one, will my credits earned at a previous post-secondary institution transfer to Canadore?
So that's a really big maybe. Again, it's a case-by-case, course-by-course basis. Oftentimes, there's two approaches. So in your program, you're going to find that you have core courses and support courses or general education courses. When it comes to evaluating a core course, you are trying to align the course learning outcomes in that when you look at a course outline for one of your core courses and it lists the 9 or 10 different things you're expected to learn, you're trying to find a course or multiple courses from your prior studies that cover those learning outcomes, showing an equivalency between them. So that's for core courses. If you're looking at general education courses, these are the exact opposite thinking. You're looking for a course you've done that has nothing to do with your current program of study. So if you are a practical nursing student and you previously did a course on health and wellness, that may not be considered as general education because there may be some sharing in some of the learning and course learning outcomes, so it might not be a good candidate. However, if you did a course on Greek history, that has nothing to do with practical nursing. Hopefully our technology has surpassed where the Greeks were hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And that might make more sense because it doesn't share the same learning outcomes. So the answer is maybe, and it is a very much a program by program, course by course, situation by situation basis. But again, the way you look at it, think about it, and evaluate it is kind of the same for each student.
Okay, and how and when can I apply for credit transfers?
Okay, so you can apply for credit transfers any time of year. A couple of tips that I'll share with people is don't just focus on the courses in your current or upcoming semester. As a college, we are going to charge you $25 for one credit transfer to a maximum of $50 per semester for 2 or more. So the reason I'm bringing this up is if you're someone who maybe has a couple of courses in Sem 1, a couple of courses in semester 3, and a couple of courses in semester 4, if you wait and do them each semester when the courses are happening, we're going to charge you $50, $50, and $50, and for a total of $150, versus applying for all of your credit transfers for the entirety of your schooling in the same semester, reducing your costs a little bit. It's not much, but every little bit helps, and you can use the remainder to go shopping with Joelle for some groceries. So that's the first good tip I would share with people is look at your entirety of what you're going to be studying. Don't just focus on the upcoming semester. So you can apply any time of year. If you are approved for a course that isn't happening for a while, it will be your responsibility to remember to drop that course when that appropriate semester happens. You can't make a drop for courses you haven't registered for yet. So that is something to consider. However, we do have what we call credit transfer deadlines for a guaranteed result. At Canadore, we have a certain number of days at the start of the semester where students can drop courses. We call it our 10-day count. And if you submit your credit transfer applications before a deadline, we have one coming up on December 8th. So any credit transfer applications received with all of the supporting documentation by December 8th, we will guarantee you a result before that deadline to drop a course. Any that are received after are dealt with on a, as they come in sort of basis. So you can apply at any time throughout the year, but in certain instances, you'll want to do it and be a little more proactive. And honestly, the sooner and the earlier you do it, the more you're going to know about your educational journey and a more concrete, roadmap for you as you move from semester to semester will be laid out for you. So it's not something you want to wait till the end and go, oh my goodness, I want to get out of courses. You want to be proactive with it if at all possible, because it'll reduce your course load, allowing you more time to study and grocery shop with Joelle.
Great, Jonathan. Maybe this one has been already clarified, but let's just confirm. What do I need to apply for a credit transfer?
Okay, so first and foremost, a transcript, an official transcript must be supplied to the college. Oftentimes we will get them if you have applied through OCAS and you've supplied your transcripts via OCAS, we have access to them, but that's not always the case. So some students are required to contact their prior institution and arrange to have a transcript sent to us, either electronically, it's usually the fastest method, or if the prior institution won't send it electronically, then by regular mail. So an official transcript showing the grades is an absolute must, because we need to validate that a minimum standard has been met. And I'll deviate a little bit here. The minimum standard for a course to be considered for credit transfer for, I would say 90% of our courses is a C or 60%. We do have some select programs that have slightly higher bars with the minimum up into the B range, but on average, the minimum that you would need to have on a course to use it would be a C or 60%. So that transcript validates that for us. So we would need a transcript. We would need a course outline for the course that you took at the prior institution, and it must be a full outline that shows the course learning outcomes, not just a course description. If you go to any website for any institution in Ontario, you can very easily find a little paragraph that tells you about the course, but that's not enough information for our subject matter experts to do a fair evaluation of whether courses are equivalent. So we need a full official outline, and then those two documents support the application that the student submits. So it's really three: the application, the outline, and the transcript.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
You're quite welcome.
Moving on to registration questions. When does registration begin? And what if I'm unable to register at that time?
Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Canahan. I can answer that question. Registration is scheduled to open on December the 8th for all students. An email will go out with details about that soon before the registration window opens. In that email, you will see a link to self-service where you go to register for your courses. There's also going to be a support Zoom link on that email so that students that are having difficulty registering or having issues can also join a Zoom call, and the times for those Zoom calls will be in that email. Normally it's the day that registration opens, but look for that email to come your way very soon. Also, there's supports through the admissions email. So that's admissions@canadorecollege.ca. And so we're excited, December 8th, look out for that email.
Excellent. And what is my student number? Where can I find it?
So your student number would be on your offer letter that you received from the college. So if you didn't receive that, you would have received an email with your offer letter on it. So look for that. If you have any questions or having trouble finding it, just email again at admissions@canadacollege.ca and we'll have that for you.
And do I need to pay my full tuition before I can register for classes? How do I submit a payment?
So yes, you do have to have, you would have had to pay your full tuition before you can register. If you are an OSAP student, then if you've done your application for OSAP, then you'll be able to go through and register. If you're a sponsored student and your sponsorship letter is on file with us, then you will also be able to register with that on file. But payment can be done through our self-service on the website. And you would have received that information on your invoice, and on the back of the invoice has all the information on how to pay for your fees.
All right. And lastly, how do I get a student card and a bus pass?
So again, you'll be receiving an email about that. This year we've launched a digital student card with a bus pass on it. So all students will get an email with a link that you can put on your phone and just show your bus pass and your card, your student card to the bus driver, and that will be your bus pass.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cool. Now we're gonna move to the class schedules and program delivery. So the first question that I have is, how and when will I get a class schedule? Do I get to choose my own schedule?
So when you begin the registration process, at the end of the process, you'll be brought to a page where you get to pick a block of courses. So you won't have a choice of the courses that you'll be taking that semester because it's structured that way. You'll be taking a block of courses. You will, however, if your program requires a gen ed, then you'll have a choice of the gen ed that you want to take. And once you select the block of courses that you want to take, you'll see your schedule on the side of the screen. And once you submit that to register, you'll have a schedule at the end of the registration process.
Great, thank you, Angela. Second one, how can I tell if my class is going to be online or in person?
Okay, so when you see your schedule after you've registered, if there isn't a classroom attached to any of your courses or your deliveries, then those courses will be done remotely. However, they will still have a scheduled time on them for you to be in your remote class. So other than that, if you see a classroom with a time, then you'll be required to be in the classroom for that scheduled class.
Okay, and what is the difference between hybrid and HyFlex? Do I need to be on campus?
So for a hybrid delivery, yes, you will be expected to be, you will expect it to be on campus. You may have a couple of courses that are in class and some online. The HyFlex option is the classes for that semester are delivered online and in class. So you will have the option to pick a block that is either on campus or online, remote.
Okay. Can I change my program before the start of classes?
So if you are a domestic student, you can, within the first 10 days, change your program. You can come to the registrar's office and do that change of program. You'll require some paperwork to do that, but yes, you can within the first 10 days.